is talking about working with young kids and building young kids' language. Anybody work with littles? And when I say littles, let's start off with third grade or younger. I still consider them pretty little. Anybody have third grade? Okay. Anybody have kindergarten or younger? Any kindergartners? Okay, Elaine's got a kindergartner. Okay, any little like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. Elaine's got them all. Do you have any babies? Do you have kids before they come to you, Elaine? And we're talking about this. So this actually applies, it applies for any student that you're working with, but especially those younger ones who are really just learning language. My favorite technique for learning language is what we call prepare, engage, and reminisce. It's these 3 steps, and it's pretty self-explanatory what it is. So first, these are the 3 steps in our language development. We are talking about something ahead of time. We're doing it, and then we're engaging in it and talking about it as we're doing it. And then afterwards, we're reminiscing about it. Now, when I think about this process, I often think of my own elementary years when I think of when we would go on a field trip as a class and we would talk about the field trip ahead of time and we'd have vocabulary ahead of time and then we'd go on the field trip and then we'd come back and the teacher would write a beautiful story and we'd all write that story. Did that ever happen to you guys? Do you guys remember that? Right. Well, I mean, that's the process. We're preparing ahead of time, we're experiencing it, and then we're reminiscing about it. A lot of our DHH kids miss this entire process. They miss the entire process, especially at home. And so often our kids are lacking language because they don't have this at all. They don't have their families talking to them or communicating with them, or they're missing it because they're missing that incidental language of, we're going to go to the grocery store today because it's time for us. We're out of these things and we need to get these things and we're going to put them on the list and we're going to check the list. They don't have that background information. All of a sudden they're getting in the car and they're going to the store and they're not really sure what they're shopping for, but they're seeing things and maybe they want this, but that's not allowed. And then mom points to this and you get that. And then you go back home and then you're just moving on to the next thing. And in school too, we're going from class to class, experience to experience, and it's constantly that moving on to the next thing, especially after kindergarten. In kindergarten, there's a lot of kind of this, there's more of this conversation and more of this language development. But after kindergarten, things kind of get a little academic. Kids are expected to kind of sit at their seats a little bit more. They're talking less to people. And then for sure after third grade. And if we have any of our students who have interpreters with them, any of you guys have students that have interpreters with them? Okay, so Jennifer's nodding her head. So if you've got a student who has an interpreter, probably 90% of the day, that language is coming at them. There's hardly any of this give and take, back and forth exchange. And that's for if you have an interpreter, but really it's for any kid, third grade and after, because there's just a lot of language that's coming at them, a lot of teaching that's coming at them. So we really have a fantastic opportunity to re-engage this whole process of prepare, experience, and reminisce. Um, and it's the whole process of, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's our vocabulary words and talking about it, showing pictures of it and just being it, but talking about the emotions of it, talking about what to expect, sequencing first, second, third, cause and effect when we do this, and this will happen. And then really just pouring into that, experiencing it, but then while we're experiencing it, talking about what did we say was going to be next? How are you feeling? And oh my gosh, what just happened? And then the missing piece that we almost always forget is reminiscing afterwards. Do you remember when? And calling that back. This is such a valuable technique to share with families because this reminiscing and pulling back is an opportunity for you to clear up confusion miscommunication. So often our students, they don't really understood what happened, or maybe they saw something happen and they thought that it happened for a different reason. So maybe they saw that somebody was upset or angry and they interpreted it differently. Maybe and they don't have the memory of it or they don't understand it. So you have the opportunity to go back and revisit and make some corrections on maybe how they understood things or misunderstood things. And pictures are truly, truly, truly worth 1,000 words in this whole process. My favorite thing, especially, and I can't, and if you work with families and can give insight for families, if I had family members here right now, I would say take so many pictures all the time and then go back and review them. Who is in here? What are you doing? Why? What's the holiday? When was that holiday? What were we celebrating? How were you feeling? And attaching that to a real life memory that a child has builds their language so quickly and so meaningfully. And it supports their emotional development, cognitive development, cause and effect, sequencing, all the skills, all the skills. And for you as teachers, even as itinerants, what's beautiful about this is that these are the activities that you can do that you don't have to do a lot of, like, you don't have to copy any papers, you don't have to do anything like that. You can walk around the school, you can make pudding. All you need is water and the mix, the pudding mix. You can plant a flower or go out and look at the flowers. It can really be, it's experiential is the point of it, right? And so we don't have to pack up our car, we don't even really have to do a lot, but take pictures, 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 so that you can go back, review it, and build those vocabulary words. And that is really gold when it comes to working with our students who are language delayed at any point in their development. Now, there's a training that is on this, and it is inside of the Friend Academy, and it is especially created for parents because it is a really wonderful parent technique. And I couldn't recommend it more. I mean, it's really fabulous for like holidays upcoming. I mean, it's fabulous all the time, but with holidays coming up, it's really kind of critical. It's really quite important to be able to do this technique coming up. And we're starting to enter. Halloween is coming up soon. Think of all the anticipation that's coming up for Halloween. The kids, they see all the costumes that are in the stores and they start seeing the candy on the shelves, but they don't really know. A lot of them, they don't know, they can't say trick or treat. They're not really familiar with exactly the day or the countdown to it or pumpkin, the language for jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkins. There's just so much that you can do. Okay. But then we've got Thanksgiving and then we've got Christmas, and there's lots of opportunity also to pour in self-advocacy skills. And here's what might happen for this. And what will you do? What will you do if somebody has a mask on and they're trying to talk to you and you can't hear them? What can you do in this? And so again, you're preparing. Then during the event, you can prompt kids, or parents can prompt kids, and then afterwards you can talk about it and revisit. So let me just show you where this training is side of our Friend Academy. Now, just so you know, the Friend Academy is our parent training. The Friend Academy stands for Family Resources and Information for Educating and Navigating the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Journey. We actually had a member that came up with that acronym, the Friend Academy, and so we had to honor that because it was just so brilliant. But as teachers, if you are a member of the Professional Academy, your families get free memberships to the parent program through you. So I want to make sure that, because right here is in your account where it says add your families to the Friend Academy, and it steps you through step by step how you can give them, basically you give them 100% off coupon for the program. So the program is normally $199 per family, but if you've got 10 families on your caseload, all of them get it for free under your membership. So it's a really wonderful value. And why? Why am I doing this? Because first of all, I'm nobody to your families. They don't know who I am. but they know who you are, and you want to support them. So when you tell them about the online itinerant, first of all, I can help you support your families. I can take that load off of your shoulders, but then you and I can work with families together. So if you know of this training, then you can point them to into here. You can bring them to, you can say, hey, on Tuesday, she's going to be talking about this. I'm going to be there. I would love if you would be there too. You can walk alongside parents in that way. They also, when they join the Friend Academy, they also get a toolbox. So there's activities. So if you're doing an activity with your student in school, you can send it home and they can do it with the families at home. Um, if you are doing one of our Thursday trainings, then also get the Thursday trainings. So then they can come, like right now, we're learning how to do cued speech for reading and phonics. Like that might be very helpful for your families to learn how to do some cueing with their kids. So you get to come, you can recommend, you can talk about, and you can get the same information and you can be on the same page together. Okay. So to do that, all you have to do is click on this section that says add your families to the Friend Academy. And what happens is you get a link for 100% off for their membership. So then it's not you, they subscribe, they join on their own, but it's through that free link. So you're not giving me their confidential information. You're not entering them if they don't want to be entered. It's up to them. But then once they do that, both you and them get our on-demand parent trainings. And let me just show you what that looks like inside of here. And this one that I'm talking about right here is in this section right here. It's called Turn Knowledge into Action. And this is one of my absolute favorite sections in the Friend Academy. What this does is it takes all the information that has been taught in these trainings, which is the impact of hearing loss. So there is just basically eight trainings in this. No, it's 5 trainings in the series about the barriers that a hearing loss can cause: communication and language, learning, the environment, incidental learning, and social emotional development. These are the 5 ways that hearing loss can impact a child. So it just kind of educates families on what can this mean for your child, but more so, how can you watch your child and see how it's going for them? How can you observe your child and understand, oh, I don't think that they understood this. What can I do to support them in that to be able? It's not communication specific because communication is communication, but what we want parents to know is that communication is really important. And if your child is missing communication, we need to figure that out. So we need to figure out how are we going to work around that. So it takes this information from the first 5 sections, and then it gives back to that turn knowledge into action, is that these are short little trainings that are okay. Now, how can we observe my child and see what's going on and how things are going? So you learn the whys, the whats, the whens, and the hows of using what we call an access lens. So they're able to watch their child. Does their child have access right now or not? And how can they support their child to do that? And part of that is this prepare, engage, and reminisce. So this is a 21-minute training. It's really short. And it's a really powerful training for them to teach them how to prepare ahead of time, take pictures, and talk about it when you're done. And then this training here is making magic out of the mundane. And this is great for you too. These trainings are fabulous for you as well. This training is about how you can take sorting socks, doing laundry, and how you can make this an entire activity, an entire language building activity, or how you can do how bath time can be an entire language building activity. Just the very ordinary daily activities that we do, how they can become very rich language activities. So this is those sections that are inside of this parent program. Also, inside of the parent program. So we also have these other sections, and some of them might look very familiar to you because these are also sections that are inside of the Professional Academy, and we've got some overlapping trainings, but some of them are specific towards parents, like Who's Who and Alphabet Soup. This walks families through what's the difference between the clinical audiologist and the educational audiologist. Who is the special ed teacher versus the teacher of the deaf, or the speech and language pathologist versus, all of these people? What is an LEA? What is an ENT? There's all of these letters that we are constantly very familiar with that parents are just very overwhelmed with. Understandably, it's not part of their daily language. IEPs, all the things, all the things. And then some great trainings about this is UDL in the classroom and captioning. And then you'll notice that we also have deaf with additional considerations, IEP and legal considerations. So this one talks about like 504s and IEPs. This is about an audiogram and being able to read an audiogram and knowing what it means and what you can tell about this. This is also in the Professional Academy. All of these are in the Professional Academy. And legal issues supporting students with hearing loss. What is an educational audiologist? So all of these trainings are great for families. One thing that I can tell you, it's very rare that we get families that are just in and just surfing for trainings because they're not sure which ones apply to them and which ones don't. So it's really fabulous when you've got access to this that you can say, I think you might really benefit from this particular training. And I have schools that even they host like nights, they host family nights where they just press play on Zoom and people can come in and there's a training there for you. But the professional development is from the Friend Academy or the Professional Academy, and it's there for people, but then you're providing it for them and being that point person for them.